Hey, bravo, beautiful job. So nice to be here and see all of you. Thanks for inviting me to do this, Subin, and it's really wonderful to hear you play this morning. Thanks for jumping up and being first too, which is always a difficult spot to be in. I wonder if we could talk a little bit about what a concerto is, and to you. You know, you're playing this in a small hall. It sounds really nice in here, which is great, but with a piano. Usually concertos are what? With the full orchestra, right? And the role of a violin in a violin concerto, and particularly in Tchaikovsky concerto, what do you think the role of the violin is in this piece?
Well, because this is for solo violin, I think it's kind of like, at least for me personally, I think this piece is kind of like, it's not necessarily showing off, but kind of like, I think it's for me to like be able to play out and like, kind of, the whole performing is like showing what you've worked on.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I like what you said about playing out, and that this is really to show off in a way. You know, I think another way of thinking about it is you're the main character in a story, and all concertos, to a degree, there's this element of there's one violin versus an orchestra, right? And I think we have to take that, even when you're playing with a piano, even when you're playing in a small space like this. It's not a 2,000-seat concert hall, but I would love for you to start to embody that sort of like real hero role, like main character hero energy in this, even in the opening. Let me grab my violin. So we have this introduction. It's the first entrance. It's so dramatic, and I see you you kind of always, you know, crunch into the left a little bit, which I know is it's just kind of a symptom of playing the violin. Everything we do is to the left side, you know. The violin juts out to the left, we're using our right arm, but it's always on the left side. We have a tendency to think that producing a bigger sound or a more kind of dramatic sound is always going to be pressing into the violin on the left side. And I wonder if you could try once really just thinking about your right side. So instead of looking over here, angling yourself to the left, try to open your chest out and really think about even looking to that direction of the room. Would you try that once? Yeah, great. Just humor me once and physically look in that direction while you're playing too. Yeah, great. One more thing to add. Really make sure you're sustaining through the tip. I sometimes feel... But here, you're still telling the story, right? So you're still... I want to be able to hear almost like you're a singer. Singers don't have bow changes, right? So I want to feel like everything is supported all the way through the tip. So even on the tip, bow changes. Just keep telling us, keep spinning us that story. Yeah, great, much better. And I think, one last thing is this little theme, your little cadenza, it's kind of filled with blue notes. If you think... all those little chromatic moments, the word chromatic, where that comes from?
Like chroma for color.
Chroma, yeah, color. So I think this idea of whenever you see chromatic notes, there needs to be some special flavor in them, right? It's not just... They're not headed in the same direction as this. Chromatic notes tend to be kind of more, I don't know, more slimy, more something in there, right? Harder to get to their destination than just a plain arpeggio. We're in the light. Back into darkness for a second. And then finally, we feel that as a release. Could you try that once? Yeah, great. Let's go on for a second. Yeah, excellent. Great, beautiful. Could you play the piano part right there once, just by yourself? So what kind of a vibe is that giving you?
It's like, I don't really know how to put it. Like, you can kind of notice, like, all the first chords are different, but it ends on, like, the same.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back. It's kind of like, they all start differently, but they go back to the same notes at the end.
Yeah. So it's just kind of a simple harmonic phrase, but how about the feeling of those shorter notes? What does that sort of evoke for you?
Kind of like lighter and like happier feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say also, maybe to add to that, I feel like this is a dance, right? And so I feel like your melody should reflect that as well. And in a dance, we have strong beats and we have weak beats. So the movement is always kind of either 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, right? This is sort of a Baroque concept that like the beats are not equal. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And I always like to think of rhythm as kind of in a circle, so you feel like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One beat is always kind of at the bottom of things, and then every other beat is in service or making its way back to 1. So what if you really almost aimed for those first beats? So I'm hearing a little bit. Every beat seems a bit equal, and I think just to really listen to the background. Dum, bum, 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 bim, bim, bum, bim, bum, bum. You try that once? Yeah, great. And one more thing, I think just don't forget about that right side of your body. So really tell us the story. Don't tell yourself the story. Right, really invite us to listen. Yeah, great. And this, I would love to hear that with more character. You know, that's kind of like where the dance starts to, you know, it's the ballet starting to come out, right? That was beautiful. I think this is one other element to add here where it's dance-like, but it's also a song, right? It feels very kind of simple and just simple, easy, song-like. When you start having there's the chromatic again, right? And then that's sort of, you know, we have these two characters where it's more placid, more calm, and then all of these sorts of characters I think you can just go wild with exploring.
Okay.
One more time? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think also to make that contrast, I think that was a lot more alive actually. To make that contrast even more, I think I'm missing a bit of articulation actually. So we really get that sense that there's actually a rest there, right? And I I think that'll give us also the sense of energy that's maybe missing a little bit. Sounds good. It can have a danger of sounding too similar to this, right? I think just a bit more of that contrast would be nice. Yeah, that was great. That was really, really great. What's happening here musically? It's getting stuck, right? Obsessed. Right, that's sort of the like explosion back into joy from the madness. I want to be able to hear that you're stuck and you're coming out into the light again. Do you want to try maybe just from... Excellent. Great. All this stuff. I'm missing a bit, like, if you think about if you're playing in a bigger hall, right? Things kind of need to be slightly more exaggerated, I think, and that includes really letting us know, even in this little hall, I have a bit of a trouble hearing the outline of this phrase. I'm hearing, I mean, you're doing what's marked, but I think there's an element of really kind of letting us know what we're hearing and what the harmony is. So you feel this rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe what that means technically is just very slightly making sure that you yourself are hearing all of the notes, especially maybe the first note of those phrases or those beats. You want to try? Yeah, how about just from? that was a lot better. And then, you know what ends up happening is that the piano or the orchestra doesn't have first beats, right? Right, all through that passage. So I think that's backing up my claim that I think the first, it shouldn't be too. Like really make sure that we're getting that you want things on the downbeat and the orchestra just is not cooperating. So do you want to go one more time, just maybe right from... And all of these things here, I would love for you to invite the orchestra back in. So, I mean, I know it's super difficult, these passages, but... right? So it's not just... there's something about throwing that phrase to the piano. So I think I would encourage you to just see all of these. I know it's all super difficult and super virtuosic, and that I think all of these things, all of these really hard passages have some sort of meaning behind them, right? Whether it's as simple as that, just passing forward the energy between the orchestra and the violin, or whether it's developing a harmony or introducing a rhythm. Right, that's sort of like trumpets, I think. So all of these things, I would just encourage you to look for maybe a greater degree of musicality underneath the surface, because you can play it so well and so beautifully. Yeah, thank you so much. Bravo.